Coming up, Border Patrol and a possible government shutdown is causing tensions between the president and congressional leaders. See what they had to say.
And later, an interview with University of Iowa President Bruce Harold, where he discusses tuition and state budget, as well as the upcoming graduation.
One Hawkeye gymnast is making a return after a serious injury. I'll tell you more in sports.
It's going to warm up slightly for the rest of finals week. I'll tell you more in weather.
We've got all that and more coming up on this Wednesday morning edition of DITV.
So don't go anywhere. DITV starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to this Wednesday, December 12th edition of DITV. I'm Bo Bowman alongside Kaylin Clark.
Yes, good morning. Here is a look at our top story of the day.
Border security and a possible government shutdown are creating tensions between the president and congressional leaders. In a meeting at the Oval Office on Tuesday, President Trump shared a heated exchange with House Democrat leader Nancy Pelosi and her Senate counterpart Chuck Schumer. Here's what happened between President Trump and the Congresswoman.
I also know that, Nancy's in a situation where it's not easy for her to talk right now, but we have to have border security.
Mr. President, please don't characterize the strength that I bring to this meeting as the leader of the House Democrats who just won a big victory.
And we've gained in the Senate. Nancy, we've gained in the Senate. Excuse me, did we win the Senate? We won the Senate.
When the president brags that he won North Dakota and Indiana, he's in real trouble.
When I
did.
Let me say this.
We did win North Dakota
this
and
is the
Indiana.
most unfortunate.
The meeting ended without a set resolution as the chance of a government shutdown sometime in the next week continues to increase.
Last week, the Daily Iowan sat down with University of Iowa President Bruce Harold for an exclusive interview. DITV News reporter Mackenzie Cooper is in the newsroom to tell us more. Good morning, Mackenzie.
Good morning. That's right. We had the chance to sit down with President Bruce Harold, and we talked a lot about state budget, lower tuition, and the Labor Center closing. Iowa politicians have talked about their excitement over the strength of the state economy. We asked President Harold if he believes this will impact the university budget and lower tuition.
I think we've got a point of view that the institutions of higher education are an expense to be cut. They're not an asset to be invested in. I've been pretty vocal over 3 years saying I think that's wrong-headed. I think we can do better for the economy. I think we're a major driver of the economy. And as we cut it, it has a negative impact. And higher education is, in fact, the future of not only the state of Iowa, but the United States. Slowly, over the last 25 years, we've been disinvesting from higher education. I, unfortunately, think we need to prepare that is still the case.
In August, the University of Iowa announced they would be closing the Labor Center. Now, last month, the Board of Regents approved that closing. This is what President Harold had to say about the university's reasoning.
The Labor Center seems to be stuck in a mode that says the university owes us, and the university should continue to subsidize the $557,000. I'm frustrated with that because that's not going to happen. And now then, what might the university do? If they can find sustainable long-term sources of funding, which I'm willing to work with them to find, then we would be glad to let them use our name, keep offices, keep using our payroll and administrative systems. So actually we're contributing quite a bit in that process.
Beginning Thursday, we will see Hawkeyes become alumni as 1,200 undergraduate and 400 professional students graduate from the U of I. President Harold discussed how those numbers are rising and how Hawkeyes are becoming more successful.
They get engaged in something beyond the classroom. There's a stickiness to it. They tend to graduate more on time. They tend to have higher GPAs. And so we've been trying to get our high impact practices out there and make them more engaging. We've also been working on getting our first generation students up and through the system, underrepresented minorities, and you'll see in the mix of students that are coming through at the end of the week and graduating, I think something well over 60% have at least 2 high impact practices, I think we're at 15 or 16% of first-generation students coming through, a similar number underrepresented minorities. Those numbers are all three lower than our goal, but they're moving their way towards our goal.
You can check out the full interview at dailyiowan.com. Bo and Kaylin, back to you.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Throw away those old blue bins. Iowa City is rolling out some new recycling bins to promote recycling. Over the next 2 weeks, Iowa City curbside residents will be getting a new 65-gallon container with blue lids. The new bins will promote recycling, and they are a safer way to collect it throughout the city than the previous bins. The City of Iowa City and the Recycling Partnership is a nonprofit and are providing funds for the project. They will be at drop-off events in January and February where residents can bring their old 18-gallon containers.
The University of Iowa hospitals and clinics tested their ability to bring someone in from a small municipal airport in a preliminary drill on Tuesday. They tried to respond to a suspect emerging bioinfection by receiving the patient at the Iowa City Municipal Airport, then transporting the patient to the UIHC emergency room to identify the disease and begin treatment. In an effort to make the simulation seem as real as possible, they released a mock-up media statement outlining the details of the patient's arrival and condition. The exercise was requested by UIHC federal partners out of Kansas City.
Iowa City's first trampoline park is open to everyone of all ages. The Planet 3 Extreme Air Park is an indoor trampoline park that offers everything from a basketball dunk zone to obstacle courses. The park opened officially on Saturday, December 8th. At the grand opening, they offered free passes to firefighters, police officers, and other public service occupations. The park opens at 10 every morning and closes at 10 every night and at midnight on Fridays and Saturdays. It costs $13 for anyone ages 7 and up.
You know, the great thing about that would be that you can use it no matter how cold it is.
That's right, but we could have it outside this right now. The temperature mild.
It is a little warmer.
Yeah, it's a little warmer than usual. Perfect for finals week. Let's toss it over to Jacob in the weather studio for more.
You guys are not wrong. It is a little bit warmer over here in Iowa City, but we have some showers possibly later in the forecast. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, let's talk about today's forecast. Right now, we're looking at a high of 37 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Moving into your night, we're looking at around 26 degrees. Partly cloudy skies are going to stick around and move into your night. Now, moving on to Tuesday, we're going to be looking at a high of 38 and a low of 29. Now, like I said, there's a chance of PM showers moving in around 6 or 7 o'clock, but 40% may not even happen. For Friday, you're looking at a high around 40 and a low in the mid-20s. Saturday, you're looking at a high in the lower 40s and a low in the upper 20s. And then looking at your Sunday, we're looking at a high of 42 and a low in your lower 20s with partly cloudy skies. So it's looking like we got a lot of good weather coming in and a wonderful, wonderful broadcast weather coming for your first weekend of break. Back to you guys at the desk.
The original Pancheros Mexican Grill in downtown Iowa City is getting a new feature. It's going to start having a delivery option for its customers. Customers can order their food online, and if they download the Pancheros app, they can even order on there as well, and they'd have to choose the delivery option and have a minimum of $15 in order to qualify for delivery. Pancheros will deliver between 10:30 in the morning and midnight.
Gabe Graber will be the kid captain for the Hawkeyes Outback Bowl game on January 1st. 14-year-old Graber became a lifelong Hawkeye fan when he took his first breath in the University of Iowa Children's Hospital. That was January 1st, 2005, the same day the Hawkeyes stunned the LSU Tigers to win the Capital One Bowl. Around 4 months before Graber was born, his mom found out her unborn child would need 3 heart surgeries before he turned 5 years old. Graber has a congenital heart defect where his right ventricle never fully developed. He didn't need a surgery right after his birth, but he did have one at 6 months old and another at 2.5. Graber has a love for reading, and his family and friends describe him as a strong, kind kid.
Well, we still got a couple more weeks in the Outback Bowl, January 1st. But
that's right.
Until then, we've got Iowa wrestling, women's basketball to kind of tie us over.
Exactly, and Taylor's in the sports studio to keep us updated on all of that.
Thank you, guys. Yes, some big news in the wrestling world as freshman Tony Cassiope has been named USA or Wrestling Athlete of the Week. At the UNI Open on December 8th, Cassiope won the 285-pound title, pinning all his opponents in a combined 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And in other news, the Iowa women's basketball team has been on a roll lately, especially after a crazy win over Iowa State last week. But there are 2 players who have made a significant impact on the court so far this season. DITV sports reporter Natalie Acapeti will tell you more.
If there's one thing to know about basketball, is that the number 4 and 5 positions are hard to keep track of defensively.
The 4-man was trying to help on the lob and be there to help, and Hannah Stewart hit some elbow jumpers, which is hard to guard. You know, you can't. It's hard to guard the lob in the post and then go out and guard the 4-man when they're knocking down shots.
And seniors Hannah Stewart and Megan Gustafson have continued to dominate the floor with their communication and strength. Stewart and Gustafson are scoring a combined 38.4 points per game, while the Hawks are averaging about 80.5, so that is a huge contributor on the court from these 2 players.
Teams would, I think, be not very smart to not double team her, so that's something we work on, and she knows it's coming. But as for myself, I know what my role is, and sometimes that's to be open when my defense goes and guards Megan. So.
As these 2 players go into their senior year, they should be able to have some fun on the court, as they've been shooting 69% from the field together so far. Reporting from inside Carver Hawkeye Arena, this has been Natalie Acapeti, DITV Sports.
The next time the Hawks will take the court is this Sunday when they take on Northern Iowa inside Carver Hawkeye Arena at 2 p.m. Now in gymnastics news, one gym hawk suffered a season-ending injury at the start of the 2018 season. With more on her return is DITV sports reporter Alexis Gore.
Junior Claire Cauchy tore her Achilles during the 3rd meet of last year's season.
Claire got surgery exactly 1 week after the Achilles tear and was out for the rest of the season. She focused on how she can help her teammates while not being in the lineup.
I realized, it's not about you, it's what I can do for the team. And what's really helped me come back is the fact that it's really different to be involved rather than being invested in the team. So you have to ask yourself, what can you still contribute? And so that's really helped me.
These are always tough to come back from. Claire handled her adversity well and learned more about herself as a person and as an athlete during her time off the mat.
I actually think she's a better athlete now than she was prior to her injury. So, while you don't want those things to happen, sometimes they happen for a good reason. And whether that was to grow her up, mature her a little bit, get her to focus on things that maybe are just a little bit more important, her leadership role on the team, she has been incredible.
Upcoming 2019 season, Claire is ready to get back onto the mat for the first time in over a year.
Ollie really is to just go out here and give it everything, because I really have nothing to lose. I just think go big and go big or go home.
Claire will be back on the mat on January 6th at Auburn for their season opener. Reporting outside Carver Hawkeye Arena, this has been Alexis Gore, DITV Sports.
Well, I really can't express how much I have sincerely enjoyed standing here and talking Hawkeye sports with you all for the last 3 years, but I am all set to graduate this weekend, so this is the last time you'll see me here. Thanks for the memes, DITV. It doesn't seem real, but for one final time, that's all I have for you in the sports studio. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you for tuning in to this Wednesday morning edition of DITV.
Be sure to head over to dailyiowan.com for all your latest news.
And if that isn't enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out a print edition of the news on stands now.
For DITV News, I'm Kaylin Cluck.
And I'm Bo Bowman. Have a great day, Iowa City, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Same time, same place.